The summer is over. We are back to business here on Risk and Reward. All month we are talking to decision makers and business leaders on that theme. Joining me now exclusively from Atlanta is retail giant Home Depot's co-founder, Bernie Marcus. Bernie, so glad you're with us. Thank you for the time.
Great to be with you.
We talk business. You are very involved in the political scene. You have given to Jeb Bush and to Scott Walker. But I want to ask you about something going on the other side of the aisle. Bernie Sanders talking about taxes. We just want you to listen in with us.
We are the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. But very few people know that, and very few people feel that, because almost all of that wealth and income is going into the hands of the 1%.
Bernie Marcus, you are self-made. You created Home Depot. Almost everyone in this country has been in there at what point. What do you think about Bernie Sanders targeting the rich?
Well, Bernie Sanders has been on that side of the aisle and has voted for all the stupidity that's happening in the government today. We've had 7 years of bad job creation, terrible problems with unemployment. We've seen the economy in a situation that's really dampened and still, and he's voted for most of it. So, this is like a bank robber who now tells you how to run a bank. I don't get it. He's been involved with all of this, and yet he's telling us how to build America. This man doesn't know how to build America. He knows how to spend your money, my money, and everybody else's money so he can spend it the way he thinks they should spend it. So he's a socialist.
Bernie, from the standpoint of a businessman and running Home Depot, obviously you had to make the columns match up. Supposedly, Bernie Sanders' plan would cost the American taxpayer about $18 billion. Don't know if that's true. Back of the envelope. No. Yes, cheap. What do you make of that amount? Is it possible to do something else? What would you do from your standpoint?
Well, first of all, let me use a couple of Trump's words. It's stupid, okay? And it comes from stupid people. What I would do, and what I hope happens, is that we have a presidential candidate and a president from the Republican Party who can do the things that are necessary in job creation. That hasn't happened in the last 7 years. We have the lowest job amount of people in the job force since Jimmy Carter. And if you think that's good, I don't think it's good. So you have to change the atmosphere. You have taxes that you have to deal with. The small business people that make up 70% of the business in America are paying ordinary taxes. These are the guys that run the small store, the operation, the restaurants, the fast food place, the cleaning places. They're paying ordinary income, and they're not creating the jobs. They're not growing their businesses because there's no sense in growing their businesses. They have a big problem. If they want to grow and they go past 50 employees, they now have to take on ObamaCare. And that's a killer for any business. So you have that. Then you have the regulations going on. You have the taxes, you have the regulations, you have Obamacare, you have Dodd-Frank. Small business people can't borrow from banks anymore because the small banks that used to support small businesses, by the way, that helped me get started in my business, are not going to be there. And by the way, they are falling by the wayside as we speak. And the big banks are getting bigger. It's crazy.
So,
the whole
Bernie,
thing
to
is
your
crazy.
point, we are seeing banks that don't lend to business, as you rightly point out. And it sounds like you're saying you could not have created Home Depot in these current conditions, even with peer-to-peer lenders or other businesses that are so-called filling the gap.
No, there's no way. It's not only that. We went public at a very young age in our business. We only had 4 stores. We were doing $25 million in business, which is nothing today. But we were able to go public and create the capital that grew our business. Well, you can't do it anymore because of Sarbanes-Oxley, another law that was passed by Congress, the well-meaning people that don't have a clue of what they're doing. So, everything that's come down the pike has been Every year it gets worse and worse, and I've watched it. And because of this, I started something called Job Creators Network, which is really built as some kind of a base to really represent the small business guy. He has nobody representing him.
Wow.
I mean, we have, you have all these big companies with lobbyists in Washington. Small business guys don't have anybody.
Well, I am sure they appreciate your support. You're not the only person who has said small businesses have no resource these days. You mentioned Trump, of course, and you mentioned the fact that he has been very vocal in attacking the establishment, and it sounds like you understand him and his point of view on that. You also mentioned taxes. This is something that Donald Trump said about border tax.
If you do it, you're not going to have any cars coming across the border unless you pay a 35% tax. That's it. That's it. No, that's it.
So Donald Trump is able to tap a lot of the frustration and a lot of the anger that people are feeling. But is something like that even realistic?
No, it's not. Listen, Donald, I know Donald, and he has superlatives and he's got expletives. You try to pin him down on what he really means, and he's a pretty smart guy. But those kind of things don't solve this problem. Jeb Bush, as you know, I support Jeb, along with Walker. Jeb came out with a tax plan that is very concise across the board on where the levels would be, who would pay what the taxes would be for every level, how this would create jobs, and it would. And I know that Walker has plans also. You can't solve these problems by talking about the stupidity of people, and people are dumb and everybody else is dumb and I'm smart. You have to do it by coming out with real facts and real problem solvers. And if you don't have that, you're not going to solve the problems. Look, in business, I talk about, I hate my competitors. I hate this guy and I hate. That doesn't really do it. You have to come up with a strategy on how to win the hearts and souls of the consumers in order to create your business. It's not killing the other guy. It's how to make a better business so that people want to come to you. And I think that in this case, you have to be thinking very, very clearly, and you have to be thinking long term, and also what has to be done. Remember, as President of the United States, unless you're an emperor, the way Obama is, you have to go to Congress, you have to work with Congress, and you have to get these bills passed. And you have to get, get bills through the Congress. Yeah.